In today's video, I'm going to share with you how my clients routinely, we scale them to 5 and 6 figures and upwards using organic only. No ads, no boosting, no 250 DMs a day, none of that stuff, using our method. But before we get into that, I want you to think about a very simple sentence. Imagine if a random person, not a complete random person, but someone who you kind of sort of know, asks you out for lunch. What is the main deciding criteria for you for saying yes or no, right? What are you going to decide? What will this decide? And so this is a mental model of thinking that I want you to look at from a consumer decision-making point of view. If you're kind of sort of ish about the person, like you don't totally like them, the main thing that's going to be the deciding factor here about whether you say yes or you say no is going to be the lunch. Like, where are we going? What sort of food? What restaurant is it? What sort of food is going to be there? How much money are you spending? Etc., so on and so forth. Like, you want to know the intricacies of the lunch because the random person is just a random person. Now, I want you to look at another mental model of thinking. In fact, before I get into that mental model, let me tell you where it comes from. A client of mine has a call tomorrow, and she was fretting over the offer, and she was like, she got this voice note from her audience who were like, look, I need to work with you. I want to work pure inbound. Like, I want to work with you. I'm super warm, but just take my card. Tell me what to do. I need to work with you to save my insert whatever they were struggling with. And my client brought it up today, and she's like, what do I say? How should the offer be sequenced? What should my phrasing be? What should this be? What should that be? And so I asked her, I was like, who is your favorite actor? And she took a while. And then she said, my favorite actor is Ryan Gosling. And so I was like, okay, think about it for a bit. If Ryan Gosling asked you out for lunch, what's going to decide whether you say yes or no? Is it going to be the lunch or is it going to be Ryan Gosling? And she was like, yeah, to hell with the lunch. It is Ryan Gosling. He is my most favorite actor. Of course I'm going to say yes. And so if you think very long and hard about these two models of thinking, over here, the lunch decides your probability of saying yes or no. Over here, the celebrity or the influencer decides your probability of saying yes or no. Now, if we were to insert you somewhere over here, this is you, this is your offer, and this is a yes-no decision. Who would you like to be? That's my question for you. And I ask all my clients, it's like, who would you rather be? Right? And I know where this comes from. In fact, even the mistakes people made, I understand where they come from. But think about it. Isn't it easier to be Ryan Gosling? So they almost don't care about, like, the lunch goes out the window and they're like, you're Ryan Gosling. I want to go out for lunch with you. And so a lot of times, a different allegory for this is brand, this is offer, this is sale. Now, where do most people get caught up and get tricked up, right? The offer. The offer is not working, the offer is wrong, the offer is this, the offer is that, etc., etc., etc. And this is going to sound controversial, but if someone buys the brand hard enough, if someone buys you hard enough, they will buy, I know I'm going to sound cocky, they will buy whatever you have to sell. Look at YouTube. Look at the biggest influencers. Think about your favorite actor, actress, celebrity, YouTuber. If they were to put out something, wouldn't you buy? Whatever merchant, would you even care about the merchant? No. You will care about the celebrity more. Let me tell you what this reminds me of. And so what this reminds me of, another way of looking at both these things, is this. This is the direct response marketing. You get an email saying, hey, would you like to buy XYZ solution? That is where the offer is mandatory because you don't know where the email is coming from. You don't know what email address is coming. You don't know what that company is. You know nothing about them. You feel nothing about them. You have no prior information. So the offer, everything rests on how well the offer is framed and phrased and how well it's presented to you and all the cool things they talk about in the offer. But if you're a brand or influencer, which if you're on social media, you probably are, it's a lot easier to operate in this lane instead of worrying about this. If you are or you become Ryan Gosling for your audience, they're going to buy it. They're not going to care about the lunch. So let's go deeper into what turns a human, a regular Joe, into an influencer. Because if we understand leverage, you have a lot more leverage here than you can possibly have here. Because think about it. Everyone's selling more or less in the health, wealth, mindset space. Everyone's offers, everyone's got the fancy word and the fancy modalities and the fancy names and fancy insert whatever your coach told you to do. The problem is you are confusing and you are mistaking two very distinct things. One is direct response marketing, which basically means wants a yes, no, like are you in, are you out? And everything depends on the offer. And the other is brand marketing or influence marketing or goodwill. Call it what you want. There's lots of it. So let me give you an easy way to build a brand, because that's what we do. Brand building. Brand building comes down to three things that people buy. Aristotle called it the art of persuasion, or what people buy. The first thing is they buy your ethos, who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, what your ideals are. So for example, for me, my ethos is my values, things I believe in, the big ideas, the things that make me me. It's part of my character, it's my background. So I want to be a present father, I want to be a present husband, I want to be in shape, I'm spiritual. I consider building a business mandatory for anybody who is gifted and has a talent. They should be, empowering the world, helping the world. All reflective of my ethos, right? Pathos, how you make people feel. Do people feel nice? Do people, in fact, not even nice. What is the way people feel about you? What sort of emotion do you solicit from your audience? Because if there's no emotion, no one's going to buy. People buy based off of emotion, and then they rationalize it in retrospect. Like, oh, I bought that Hermes bag because, it's sturdy. Or that, the Louis Vuitton thing because it's real sturdy. Yeah. So while I make light of it, people feel a way. I mean, if I use the words Nike, there's a way, there's something you feel about it. And then the last thing is essentially what everyone hyper fixates on, which is logos, which is, the offer, the modality, what you do, how you do, the mechanics, so on and so forth. Technically, there's to some extent, there's some level of logos in ethos, your genius, your proof of concept, your results, so on and so forth. They're like the logical stuff, like the mechanics. Does it make sense? Okay, you're going to do this. What does the timeline look like? So on and so forth. But if someone buys your ethos hard enough and they feel a certain way towards you, they almost don't care what the logos is. And so where most people go wrong, and you're going to look around, you will see other people doing it. You might be doing it yourself. A lot of people go hard on one of these based on their personality, but people want three-dimensional. So you're going to see a lot of people who are pure personality, and they're very good at it. They showcase their personality, which is the influencer, but they don't know what to sell. And then a lot of people go hard on selling, buy from me, buy my special thing, buy my free webinar, buy this, buy that, but they have no personality. I mean, if you're someone and you don't have a highly engaged audience, if nobody notices you, if nobody cares, you're probably going very hard on the offer. You're probably going very hard on the sale. You're probably trying to sell to people again and again and again without building an audience first. And so your profile will probably look very salesy, or it'll look very, let's say, like a business board, like announcement, buy from us, announcement, free workshop, announcement. Nothing about you, everything about your offer. So there's nothing people can relate to. Now, if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you're high personality, your profile, whatever social profile you're on, is going to look like lots and lots and lots of personality. And you're going to get engagement. People are going to love you or maybe hate you, but it's beautiful to have people love or hate you. The last thing you want is people to not feel something about you. And so if you are full personality, you probably have a highly engaged audience. You just don't know how to monetize them. So you probably need more call to actions, more, hey, here's what I'm known for. Authority. Most people have high relatability, low authority. But then some people have very high authority, zero relatability. But the mental model remains the same. Who would you rather be? Would you rather be the random person going around spending, thousands of bucks on the lunch and then trying to convince people to buy? Because this is the vast majority of people. This is the vast majority of coaches struggling to figure out what the magic offer should be. Whereas in reality, You have brands all around you. Influencers, the biggest YouTubers, it's all brand. They don't go around trying to sell people. They don't go around trying to figure out the magic offer. They don't do that. Yes, offers have their place, but the real problem is because, unfortunately, or whatever, direct response marketeers have been teaching people how to become brands. It's a big, huge mess because this is all they know. And so they teach you offer, make something so extremely irresistible that the person can't say no. There is no such thing that's extremely irresistible except you. You are the most irresistible thing there is. If you are someone who's been taught by direct marketers, if you are someone who's hyper obsessed about the offer, and you've got years and years of experience, and you know what you're talking about, the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest thing to sharing your gift with the world and to serving people and to changing lives is not spending months and years hyper fixating, over obsessing about the offer, because it'll keep changing. It's a lot easier to be the brand that attracts and magnetizes people. It's just a lot easier, it takes less effort. It's a lot of marketers call it pre-selling, meaning the person sold on you and the person sold on what you're selling by the time they show up to the sale. That's what makes the sale matter of fact. That's how we generate inbound leads consistently, day after day, month after month. This is the power of brand. I hope this video helps you. I love you guys. I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.